Why 95% of Australia is empty. Australia is the only nation with its own continent. Indeed, it's a huge country in terms of area. Australia is the 6th largest in the world by size. Yet it has fewer people than Texas. Famously, most of Australia is wilderness. It's known as the outback. But why? There are several reasons. 1. Harsh climate. This is the most obvious reason. Australia's interior is hot and arid. Temperatures often reach well over 104 degrees Fahrenheit. This makes it difficult to sustain human settlements. 2. Rugged terrain. The outback is not flat. It's a mishmash of mountains, deserts, and scrublands. Huge areas are covered by the bush. It's a low-dry shrubby flora, prone to fires. Bushfires are a regular occurrence. With no water nearby, it creates a constant fire hazard. 3. No rainfall. More than 2/3 of Australia sees very little rain. The outback receives less than 20 inches of rain annually. That level of humidity is considered uninhabitable. 4. Killer bugs. To top it all off, the outback is teeming with toxic wildlife. Australia has the largest concentration of venomous bugs. There are deadly snakes, spiders, and insects. If you're stung by a snake in the outback, you're on your own. Getting help generally takes more time than you have. And if the bugs aren't bad enough, Australia has crocodiles. They're mostly found in salty waters along the coastline. However, Australian saltwater crocodiles don't mind fresh water, so it's not uncommon to see them in lakes, rivers, or swamps. 5. Lack of infrastructure. Of course, this is a result of the above difficulties, but it has long-lasting effects. Rural areas in Australia are almost undeveloped. This makes it very difficult to live there. There are very few roads and railroads. Access to medical care and water is limited. That's why Australia has plenty of ghost towns. 6. It's the economy. Finally, there is a perfectly reasonable explanation. Australia's economy is based on agriculture and mining. Both of these activities concentrate in coastal areas. There are no arable lands in the outback. There's nothing to mine in the desert, with rare exceptions. Both of these industries require lots of land. They need a fairly large workforce too. So people have historically flocked to coastal regions. Every single urban area in Australia is on the coast. There are no cities in the country's interior. 7. Government policy. Australian land policy has also played a role. The government would grant land to those willing to develop it. Obviously, no one wanted to develop the outback. The land in the coastal regions is a lot more fertile. The climate is milder too, so no one has been especially interested in exploring the big empty. There's no irrigation out there. But what about the Aboriginals? We've been talking about Australia as if it's always had a government. But of course, the country was established as a British colony. There were indigenous tribes before Europeans arrived. How did they survive in the outback? The short answer is, they didn't. Most Aboriginal tribes lived along the coasts. These people had permanent settlements. The ones who lived in the bush did not. They'd probably been driven out there by tribal warfare. They were exclusively nomadic hunter-gatherers. The desert tribes spent their entire lives searching for water. Some of them still live there,